If you're like me and you love food but you hate spending your entire paycheck on it, you're in the right place and you should probably be following me. I just finished grocery shopping for meal prep and I spent less than $40. With these ingredients, I'm going to be making 3 different recipes to make 6 meals each. So that's 18 meals for the price you would pay for one steak dinner at a restaurant. A lot of my followers have requested more vegetarian options, and me, being a man of the people, here we are. But don't worry, these are still going to be high protein recipes. One of the good things about vegetarian recipes is the fact that you're not paying those high prices for meat. And with food costs on the rise nowadays, it's more important now than ever to plan our meals ahead of time and be aware of what we're actually putting in our cart. The 3 recipes I'm going to be making are a Crockpot Loaded Potato Soup, a Not So Tuna Salad, and a broccoli and cheese spaghetti. I've got a pretty good variety of food here for less than $40. I've got a couple different cheeses, some pasta. Eggs are really expensive nowadays. I got the half dozen because I only need 6 for this recipe. I've got a 5-pound bag of potatoes here. I'm not going to use the whole bag, so I can use the leftovers in a future recipe. I've got some bone broth, some cottage cheese, some Greek yogurt. The Greek yogurt was actually the most expensive item on this grocery haul. Then I've got some garbanzo beans or chickpeas. This is actually going to be the base of the Not So Tuna Salad. These things are very versatile, and finding different ways to incorporate them into your diet is a great way to boost your fiber intake. And you'll see with some of these recipes, you can reduce the total cost by eliminating some of the ingredients. For example, these chives were $2 for this little thing. Do you need them in the Crockpot Loaded Potato Soup? Not really. Does it give it a little more flavor? Sure. So it comes down to whether or not you want to spend the money for the extra flavor. So I'm going to get started on the Crockpot Loaded Potato Soup, and I'll go more in depth into what is going into that recipe. Alright, so I'm ready to make this soup, and as you can see, a large chunk of that grocery haul video was actually for the ingredients for this soup. Breaking this down into cost per item, the potatoes were $2.98, the chives were $1.98, the cheese was $2, the Greek yogurt, as I said earlier, was the highest cost item in this grocery haul. This was $3.54. The onion was about 80 cents. Bacon pieces were just over $1. I'm using pre-cooked bacon pieces because the cost of bacon is so high right now. You can use raw bacon, you'll obviously just have to cook it ahead of time. I am using bone broth for this recipe because there's no meat. I opted for bone broth to increase the protein. These were $2.54 each. If you substitute for regular chicken broth, that's only about $1 per box. So that's another way to reduce the cost, but also you're going to reduce your protein. So again, it comes down to preference and your goals. But everything here came out to just over $16, which is still less than $3 per meal. This is a really delicious recipe, and the portions are very, very big, so it keeps you full and satisfied. So I'm going to get to working on it, and in the next shot, I'll show you how it turns out. Alright, I don't want to talk this one up too much, but this is the best potato soup I have ever had. You guys definitely need to give this one a try. Really happy with how that potato soup turned out. It is up on my Patreon. I'll drop a link below so you can go check that out if you want. So on to our next recipe. Today we are fiber focused. What we're making with these ingredients, a Not So Tuna Salad. So where's the fiber coming from? From our garbanzo beans, aka chickpeas. This recipe makes 6 servings as always, and these 2 cans of chickpeas pack about 8 grams of fiber per serving. So if you struggle with getting your fiber in, maybe you don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, this is a great thing to add to your diet to increase your fiber intake. Breaking it down by cost per item, these chickpeas were only 78 cents per can. I'm going to be adding some relish. This was $1.24. Eggs, as I said earlier, this half a dozen was $2.52. You can buy these in bulk. It will be pricier up front, but it'll reduce your overall cost per egg. And again, the highest cost item, I will be adding some Greek yogurt into this to give it some tanginess and to increase the protein. But this was $3.54. And using the same item like this across multiple recipes is a great way to reduce your overall grocery cost. This ranch packet was only 50 cents, and this onion was, I think, about 55 cents. Now the sliced cheese, I'm not sure if I'm going to be using in this recipe. I was thinking about either doing the Not So Tuna Salad as a whole or actually turning it into a Not So Tuna melt sandwich. If I do the melt, I will use the cheese, and going back to fiber, I'll probably choose a higher fiber bread, and that will increase the overall fiber count for the recipe as well. So I'm going to get started on this, and in the next shot, I will either show you a Not So Tuna melt or a Not So Tuna Salad. And there we go, Not So Tuna Salad made with chickpeas. You can't even tell. If you like snacking on things like dips or you really like sandwiches, this recipe is right up your alley. I think this is probably going to be exclusive to Patreon only because I'm running behind on content, but I promise the last recipe from this grocery haul will be available on YouTube. Alright, today we are making the broccoli cheese spaghetti. I'm excited about this recipe because broccoli cheese soup is one of my favorite soups. I was already doing the potato soup and I didn't want to do 2 soups in one grocery haul, so I thought it would be cool to turn it into a pasta. And if you guys have seen any of my other content before, you know I love turning things into pasta. The ingredients for this recipe came out super cheap. Everything here was under $10. The broccoli was 98 cents, the pasta was $2.52, the cottage cheese was the most expensive item at $2.58. The broccoli cheese soup was $1.72, and the block of cheese, as I mentioned earlier, was $2. So all of this comes out to $9.80 divided by 6 meals. That's $1.63 per meal. I did do a test run for this recipe and it turned out really good. This may not look like a lot of ingredients, but I promise there's flavor and it's super filling. So I'm gonna jump straight into this and I will show you how it turns out. And there we go, broccoli cheese spaghetti. There's honestly not too much I need to say about this. This is absolutely delicious. Definitely a must try. And there we go, 3 delicious meals that are high protein, low calorie, and affordable. 2 vegetarian recipes and 1 recipe that can easily be turned into vegetarian. With the potato soup, all you need to do to make it vegetarian is swap out the bacon pieces for imitation bacon, and depending on what you consider to be vegetarian, you can either use the chicken bone broth or swap it out for vegetable broth. By the time this video posts, the potato soup and the Not So Tuna Salad will be available on my Patreon. You can find a link to those in the description below. And the broccoli cheese spaghetti will be available here on YouTube and on my TikTok. If you guys found this video helpful in any way, don't forget to subscribe, mash that like button, and drop a comment below and let me know what you would like to see in the future. I am here to help you guys, so I would love to hear what would be useful to you on your journey. See you in the next video.